Hey fishing friends, welcome back to eFishin. I'm Rodney. We're down here in the garage, and today, well, we're going to replace the old motor guide. I was out on the lake the other day and had been fishing for a couple hours and went to move spots, deployed the trolling motor, stepped on the button, and well, ain't what nothing happened. I fooled around, unplugged, checked the breakers and all that stuff, and there was nothing. So tested the batteries out. We got new batteries, so that's a good thing. All was good there, and well, we're going to take this thing off, and we got us a new Lowrance Ghost to put on it. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm not an expert at this, but here y'all are. We're going to go through it together. We're going to see what happens. So let's get to it. We got it off. Now, fun starts. We're going to start on the new one, so y'all hang tight. We've got the trolling motor off, the old motor guide, and now well, here it is. This is the way it comes. So right off, right here at the beginning, is the operator's manual and installation manual. So we're going to go read through this and maybe watch a few YouTube videos. And we'll be back here in a little while, see what's going on. We went through, read this thing, watched a few YouTube videos. There's a few out there. Go watch them if y'all have one of these. Might help you out. All right, let's see what all we got here. Got a prop. Looks like a pretty standard prop. Let's pull that out. There's the foot pedal. And there's the head of the thing. Looks pretty sweet. And then we got a couple boxes here. That sounds like hardware. And that one's pretty heavy. Yep, that's pretty heavy. Let's see what's in these boxes here. Oh, looks like the mount. And then I bet this right here. That's all the hardware. So let's get it all out, and then we'll show you what we all got here out of the box. Here's all of our pieces and parts. It's all out of the box, so we're going to get started on putting this thing on. All right, first thing we're going to do here, we're going to set this thing on here and see how the holes line up. Just wouldn't get by without putting new holes in the boat. That would probably be a good thing. All right, here's the end of it. And to get this thing to release, you push this little lever down here and you pull on the pull handle here, and that'll let you open it up. So all right, I went and got a 4x4 and a 2x4 just to kind of support the head of this thing so it's not completely falling all the way down to the ground. All right, looks like we got a hole they're gonna line up, so that's a good thing. All right, guys, we've kind of fitted around, see where everything's gonna be. So got our bag of hardware here. We're gonna start putting some nuts and bolts in this thing and see if we can't get it at least attached to the boat today. We'll see. Alright, we're about to forget something here. Forgot to put this strap in, but we haven't got anything tightened down, so we're just going to slide this sucker under here. So it's in there. Let's tighten all these screws down. I think it's on there pretty solid. Let's move in the boat. Let's move on to the next step, I guess. All right, the next thing to do is put these cable managements on, and there's two holes right here that they go on, and they've got these little things to go in here, and I don't know how you're supposed to do that, but all right, I fumbled around with these things trying to get them in. So I got a pair of tweezers, and I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it or not, but we're gonna try it out. Yep, that's the deal. So put these in, get your little piece of tweezers, unless you got real small fingers, and then it might work for you. But here we go. All right, they're in. All right, here's the next step. We're going to put the motor in. We're going to attach it to the mount here. And it's got these little keys, and you just kind of set it down on there. So put that thing on there. And then we got a couple of screws here. And they go in right here. One on each side. And it takes I think that's a 6mm hex head that takes. So we're going to put it on. There we go. It's in. Let's test the release mechanism and make sure that all works. We're making progress. I think the next thing is to put the gas strut on, so I'm gonna go get it and we'll be right back. We're ready to put the spring assist on here. And one thing I want to let you know about is if you're reading in your manual here on how to install this thing, it calls for 2 washers that go in between these and these binding barrel, whatever these things are called. What are they called? Binding barrels. Well, apparently Lowrance has upgraded this piston and you don't need those washers anymore. So, but it's still in there. I just confirmed that with folks that I bought the thing from. So let's get to putting it on. All right, folks, this is one part of the install that you're going to need somebody to help you out with, and that's to hold this motor up right here like that. You got it? need. Thank you. Alright, there we go. And the next thing we got to do is install this stabilizer bar. So what we're going to do, per the instructions, we're going to take, it's got a threaded end on it, and it goes into this piece right here. And that helps just stabilize this thing from bouncing up and down, because you can see it's got some play in it. So that helps going down the road and going down the lake. So it's got this threaded end. What they say to do is take it and lay it up against this piece with the threaded end down, and then mark the top of it. So we're going to mark the top of it with this Sharpie here. And you can see that mark right there on it. And then it says to take a ruler and measure up 3/4 of an inch from it. We're going to try to do this so we've measured that up. So we got our 2 marks, and I'm just going to put an X right here on the side that I'm going to cut, just to help me remember that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go cut this. I'll be back. I'm just going to use a hacksaw. What we're going to do, take a file and just knock that burr off right there. Just so it's not sharp on the edge. We got our bar, got a little rubber end cap here. I'm gonna put that thing on, get it up in there. We'll screw this thing in. We'll see how this works. There it is, it's locked in. Now they say to give it about a 1/2 inch play, so that's about what we've got. So I don't think we're gonna have to do any adjustments right in here. All we got left to do is to put this little cap right here on the end here. Right like that. And we're good. We might have to play with this a little bit, make sure it's all good and everything, but for right now, got just a little bit of 1/2 inch play in it, and that's what they say to have in it, so there you go. The next thing to do here, it says, is to put the propeller on. So the first thing it says to do is take this little protective plastic piece off. And then it says to kind of clean it up, make sure there's no grease or anything on it. And what you're going to need to do this, you'll have a 17mm socket here, and then you got a washer and a lock nut here. So this propeller, it's got a little key on it here. And then you can see on here on the inside of this, there's a little key slot on that. So I'll slide that thing on there. All right, like that. And then just kind of look right about where that's at. So one thing it says to do is put a little anti-seize on it. Put a little bit on there and kind of work that around into all the threads there. All right, so we'll stick our prop on. And you can tell when you got it because you'll see the shaft there rotating. And we'll Stick our washer on. We'll put our nut on here. Alright, we got our nut on here. So we're just going to take our 17mm deep socket. Put this thing on. Yep, there we go. All installed. Alright, here's the last thing we got to put on is this trolling motor compass. And the instructions say to make sure you put this thing somewhere where there's no magnetic interference or anything like that. So what I did, I got my little trusty smartphone here and I downloaded this app and it's called EMF detector. So here's this EMF detector and it's got this little gauge on it and you can lay it down. And what I've been doing is I've just been kind of running this thing around and seeing if there's any magnetic interference on around in my boat. And I've put my depth finder on, right? I put my depth finder on here, I turned it on and all that, and it's all reading about 45, 46, 44. It's all about the same right in here. But what it says to do is make sure that you don't mount it next to this. So when you put this thing up here, you can see what it does. It really takes off, you know. So they say to keep this trolling motor compass 2 feet away from the head of your trolling motor, and I can see why. I mean, even over here, there's a little bit of interference and whatnot, and I imagine where my plug goes in, if there's electricity coming out of that, there's probably going to be some interference there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this sucker right here. I think if I mount it about right there, I will clear all that brace. So we're going to drill a hole right here and then we're going to make sure we line this thing straight up before we drill the second hole. So let's drill some holes in the boat, which is always fun. Alright, now the next thing we need to do is we'll make sure this little arrow right here is perfectly in line with the boat. So we're going to spend a few minutes here lining this sucker up. I think that's got it. So let's drill another hole here. Put it on. Last screw to go in. Now when you're tightening these things down, don't overdo them because it's plastic and you could crack it. So be careful. Use a hand screwdriver to do this. There we go. It's on. So the next thing to do is to hook all the wires up and everything. So when I do that, I'll be back. Y'all don't need to see me snapping stuff together. So here is one thing that I ran into issues with. I have a Lowrance HDS Gen 3 as my front depth finder. Now, the sonar and everything will work with this, so I'm told. But this is the connector that comes with it. And then there's this connector here that comes with your Ghost, but it's a 9-pin connector. The HDS Gen 3s are a 7-pin. So what I didn't know was that I needed this 7-pin to 9-pin adapter. So hopefully that helps you all out if y'all have an HDS Gen 3 to get that adapter. So your sonar will work with your trolling motor. So here it is. It's on there. Everything's wired up. Seems to work. I don't know. maybe here in a little bit, we'll be able to get to the lake, actually do a lake test, maybe give a little review on that. So y'all hang tight. Y'all like this, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I'm Rodney with eFishin. We'll see y'all out on the water next time. We're out.